Hello, welcome to a fresh new video. Right now, chilling on the balcony, Bangkok, Thailand, 6 a.m, about to jump into a fresh day. And today what I'm going to be doing is just essentially an average day in Thailand, in Bangkok, working, training, living good. And the first thing we're going to be doing right now is just starting the day good on the balcony, strategizing the day. Then I'm going to be heading to the boxing gym, just a one-man boxing session. I'm going to take you through that step by step, how to get in an efficient, effective fighting shape when you're only on your own with a heavy bag to keep you company. From there, just chilling, walking around Bangkok, might find something to do. And then tonight I'm going to be jumping into a good few solid hours of sales calls, sales work, so I'll be taking you through that as well. Ladies, gentlemen, I'm in the gym, training, first session of the day, one-man session. Sometimes you can't get a sparring partner, can't get down to the Muay Thai gym. You just gotta come for a one-man heavy bag session. So maybe 4 or 5 times a week I'll come down here. Like if I'm too busy working, sleep's all fucked up, and I just can't make it to a Muay Thai gym or find a sparring partner, come down here, no excuses, got a heavy bag, got at least 12 to 15 rounds on that depending on the day. Normally what I'll do is I'll do like a 2-round warm-up, so speedball, just shadow boxing, and then obviously stretching as well, and then jump into 12 rounds on the heavy bag, just like consecutively 12 rounds non-stop. In between rounds, sit-ups and push-ups, and then after those 12 rounds are done, then I'll do one more round on the speedball and then one more round shadow boxing. So overall I'm doing 14, 15 rounds and pretty much non-stop, and it's really not hard once you get in the routine of doing it. Hitting the heavy bag ain't hard. It's one of the easiest sides of boxing. The hardest part is hitting pads, and then obviously sparring just under hitting pads for your cardio. So that's what you should be doing. But when you can't be doing any of that, no excuses, get down, 12 rounds on the heavy bag, bing bang bosh, feeling sharp, feeling fresh, all good to go.
And Alexa, free the gang, I can't forget my celly. I was getting letters in the can like alphabet spaghetti. All these niggas bite my style. I did A-Wings, got talent in jars like Simon Cowell. I was in Cali, round the neck like a bow tie. Kush God, bitch, I'm the most high. I see these rappers acting holy. When they was out in crowd surfing, we was catching bodies. I ain't a tough guy, I always make everybody laugh. I can spit on my bars, wearing a polygraph. Rap stars still making pounds, fly ops, trying to turn me to a straight like ivory. From how high I used to shot ounces. Had a sold out tour, but I still got more fans in my crop houses. I spray up where you caught shit. Spend all my money on packs, I was literally weighing up my options. They say they gun spit, they ain't never done shit.
Alright, a daily non-negotiable is sitting in this position, Asian style. As a Westerner, you can't do it that well. You can't sit it for too long. Your core, your flexibility, it's not aligned. So sit in this position 10-15 minutes a day when you're waiting around, cooking food on the elevator, waiting for something. Just sit in this position, align your core, align your hip flexors, get really flexible. Your knees, you're going to be able to sit in this position for a long time, Asian style, and it's just going to align everything inside your core. But then as well, you'll have you kicking like a fucking Thai killer. So this is where you want to sit, boys. Right, we're at the buffet, eating some nice munch. Got international buffet right here. Ooh, some more food's just arrived. And we've got some nice seafood, some normal food, some steak, some soup, and then we've got more on the way. We're reloading it, munching it all up. And this is gonna fuel us for the day. 1 meal a day today, but it's a big meal, a very big meal. Big muncher. Alright, so back at the work spot, back in my apartment, ready to grind, ready to do some sales, and to give you an insight into how just the day-to-day as a closer looks on a good offer. So the offer I'm on right now is, I'd argue it's sort of top 1% of high ticket sales offers out there. It's not hard to become a top 1% high ticket sales offer, because if you're in sales, you know the majority, they are shit. So on an offer like this, for example, we've got 3 different ads running, 3 different ad accounts running 3 different ad sets. And in the past week, because we've been scaling, one of those ad accounts has gone down. So today for me, I've got less calls than I'd like scheduled on my calendar. This happens. This is the nature of being in high ticket sales. Ad accounts are doing well, ad accounts are booking calls, and then they'll go down and you'll get lower volume. So today I've only got 4 calls booked on my calendar. On a bad day, that's going to result in 2 live calls. On a good day, I'm getting 3 to 4 live calls. So it's not an ideal situation where I can have 8 calls booked and maybe 6 are showing, and then you're closing 2 or 3 of those deals. I've only got 4 calls booked on my calendar today. So with that being said, sometimes in high ticket sales, it's not an easy lifestyle. It's not something that most people think it is when they're going in, where you hop on a bunch of calls, you send over the payment link, you collect your commission. Some days like today, where you've got lower volume, I've got to take a step backwards. I've gone and got a bunch of spare leads, so people who have been through our funnel, they've seen our ads and they filled out the form, but they haven't yet booked a call. So I've got a bunch of these leads and I'm going to be dialing these leads and then booking in extra calls for myself going into the new week, because it's Saturday right now. We've got the new ad accounts back up. We're starting with lower ad spend and then scaling them up. So with that being said, I'm preparing the next few days to have lower volume, to only have 3-4 calls scheduled on my calendar. So I'm going to be jumping back into my SDR boots. I'm going to be doing a bunch of SDR calls and booking my own calls in for the next few days, ideally anywhere within sort of like 3 to 4 days time from now. And then from there, the ads are going to be popping again. I'm going to have 6, 7, 8 calls scheduled every day on my calendar. So that's just an insight to how high ticket sales actually is. Some weeks the ad account's going to be fucked up, the volume's going to be fucked up, and you have to be a man of many talents essentially and step back into an SDR role, make outbound dials and build your own pipeline, book your own calls in. And that's why as well it's important to work your way up in the sales world. So before I became a closer, I've been closing now for around 1.5 years, but before that I did a good 8 months as an SDR. So this was when I first got into sales, started as an SDR. First of all, it was doing outbound cold calls, B2B. So essentially frozen leads, if you like to put it that way. They're the coldest sort of leads you can get. They're a random number around the business and you're dialing them. And I did this for 8 months before I even moved into closing. So this 8 months of experience I've got from doing 100, 200 dials a day outbound means when I'm in a closing role, I can take a step backwards and I can book my own calls on my calendar and just make more commission when the volume's low. I'm not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs, not doing shit, not having calls to take, and just not building momentum, which is really key for sales. High ticket sales is a very high speed sort of game. It's a high speed business where you're taking 8 live calls a day. So momentum's such an important thing. And as a closer, when you can step back, book your own calls, build your own pipeline to ensure you're keeping that momentum, that's going to ensure you've got momentum, you're making sales, and then you can breed that consistency. And it really is all about just staying on it in sales, especially high ticket, building your own pipeline, having calls coming in, and make sure you're staying active. Activity in high ticket sales is very important. And again, it's why when you're getting into sales as well, make sure you do a bit of time as an SDR. You've got that skill set, you've got it in your back pocket. If you ever need to, you can jump back into the SDR role, be dialing just for a few days if you need to, like me for example. Now I'm only going to be doing this 1, 2, 3 days depending on what the ads are looking like, and then it's going to be back full-time closing. But because I did this time as an SDR, I did a solid 8 months, I can just step back, book a bunch of calls in my calendar, keep myself warm, keep myself sharp, and then next week ads are back up, everything's firing. I've got 8 calls booked in, but I've also got these extra calls that I've sourced myself rather than just sitting around being lazy. So if you are new to high ticket sales, my point is focus on building the foundational blocks first. Don't try go straight into closing, because if you do, you're probably going to have quite a steep learning curve and it's going to be very hard to find a solid offer. So if you're new to sales, new to online money, and you want to get into it, I'd really recommend everyone jump into an offer initially as an SDR. Be a smaller cog in the machine, learn that role day to day for a matter of like 6 to 12 months. Even as an SDR, you'll be able to make good money. You just won't be closing deals, so it won't be as cool. It's not as cool as sending over the payment link, collecting that payment, collecting the commission. It's not as high adrenaline, it's not as rewarding dopamine wise. That feeling when you're closing a deal live on call is so much better. But what it is going to teach you is a skill that's never going to leave you, and you can always take a step back, do the SDR work to then benefit your other closing work in the future. But just doing these foundational 6 to 12 months as an SDR is going to leave you with a skill set that's never going to leave you. And as well, when you move into a closing position, you can make sure the SDRs under you are doing their job correctly, doing it properly. You can help them, and then eventually when you start owning offers, start managing teams, because you've got that 6 to 12 months experience doing an SDR as yourself, you've been in that role, you can teach them, you can make sure they're operating effectively, and it overall just increases your all-round ability. So when you are getting in sales, don't try jump straight to the top of the ladder, become a high ticket closer, do your time in the trenches, do your dials, become an SDR, and then move up into a closer, because in the long run, if you're thinking 5-10 years timeline, it's going to benefit you so much more than not picking up and collecting this essential skill set. So what I'm going to do now, jump into my calls, do a bunch of outbound dials, and then I'm going to finish off the day, go to sleep, and then restart it all again tomorrow. And I will be uploading a lot more on YouTube. I'm going to be very active on here, videos essentially daily, and vlogs 2-3 times a week, depending on how much free time I get. Yo, so if you did get to the end of the video and you're still watching right now, make sure as well you're in the Telegram below. So the Renegade Living Telegram, posting remote sales job vacancies on there if you are interested in getting into remote sales yourself, and then also just general lifestyle educational shit when it comes to sales, living in Thailand. So link is below. Just don't be a batty man, just hop in the fucking Telegram, you know what to do. Let's run it.